This is a paid program sponsored by the Busch Chiropractic Center.
Good morning and welcome to Health Matters with Dr. Richard Busch of the Busch Chiropractic Center. On this episode, we'll be talking about the New Life Body Sculpting program offered by Busch Chiropractic Center. Good morning, Dr. Busch.
Hey, good morning, JJ. How you doing today?
Doing well. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
It's fantastic to be here. I always like to spend some time with you in front of the microphone.
Dr. Busch, from the Busch Chiropractic Center, why don't you quickly, before we get into the meat of our discussion today, give us a little background on yourself and your practice.
Well, as you know, I've been in practice for about 20 years now here in Fort Wayne, actually coming up on 21. As far as that's concerned, my primary focus of my practice is on non-surgical treatment for herniated and degenerative disc. We also specialize in helping patients with something called neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy in general, or specifically, I should say. And peripheral neuropathy is actually death or damage of nerves. And really, the only treatment for that type of thing is medication or just to live with it. The biggest problem that we see, and one of the reasons that I started using that or treating that, is one of the biggest concerns we have for patients over the age of 60 is a fall. That's the number one, or at least one of the top two causes of accidental death in patients over the age of 60 is a fall, where they actually fall and hurt themselves dramatically. And so those are the primary things that we treat. We also treat specialize in non-surgical treatment of patients with degenerative knees and carpal tunnel and that type of thing. In 2012, I started to look around and I started to realize, you know what, I don't know if you saw this, but there were several magazines that had Fort Wayne on the cover of it for the most obese city in the nation.
I do remember those.
Okay?
Yes.
And actually, even back to the late 90s, there were reports on Men's Health that Fort Wayne was one of the most obese cities in the nation. And so as a result of that, in about 2012, we started something called New Life Body Sculpting, which is a division of Busch Chiropractic. And basically what that addresses is it really addresses that need for patients that are overweight and may have tried a lot of different things but haven't been able to really get back into a lifestyle where a healthy lifestyle, I should say, where they can actually get their weight under control and get back to a normal active lifestyle.
Now, that's the thing about being overweight is it's not just the weight problem that will bog you down, but it can cause a host of other health problems.
Well, there's no question about it. You know, obesity is one of the primary causes of early death in people, no matter what their problem is. We see an elevated risk of cancer. We see an elevated risk of heart disease, blood pressure problems associated with that. And diabetes is probably the number one, I guess, the worst disease process out there, because there's so many other problems that come along with that. And that is unfortunately associated with obesity, or even just being overweight. Obesity is a real big category. A lot of us here in Fort Wayne happen to carry a little bit too much weight.
Like me.
And me at times. Now, there are times where I'm doing a lot better than others, but, we just came through the end of the winter.
Sure.
And one of the things that we see with that is we have a tendency to become a little bit more sedentary. We're not as active as we normally would like to be.
I understand that.
And so, the best thing that we can do to help with that, and one of the best things we can do to actually not only get our weight back under control, but become more healthy, is to, first of all, drop those pounds and then get more active. One of the nice things that we're doing with New Life Body Sculpting is it's not just a situation where you have to get yourself back into the gym, because sometimes that's really hard, especially when you're carrying that extra 5, 10, 20 or more pounds. But once we start to lose weight, we start to see more energy, and we start to become a lot more active. And so it becomes more easy to become active once we actually get rid of that extra weight.
Now, why do you think it is that people have such a hard time dropping weight in the first place?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with habits. A lot of people around here, especially when it gets cold outside. I mean, it gets too cold outside to do with a lot of things during winter. And even after that, when we get into the spring and the summer, once you're carrying those extra pounds, it's a lot easier just to hang on and, say, what, I'll do it later, than it is to actually start and actively do something now. And that's one of the reasons that I like this program so much, is because basically once you start to lose the weight, it actually becomes a lot easier to become more active. And so the more active we become then later on, as we've lost that weight, the more healthy we can become.
Even when you change your eating habits, though, it seems like it's tough to drop the weight. And does that have something to do with a chemical? There's
no question about it. What happens a lot of times, like everything else, our body is always struggling to maintain a level of efficiency. Okay. And so as a result of that, a lot of times people say, well, I'm not going to eat breakfast, or I'm only going to eat one big meal a day. And so what happens is it causes your body to actually shut down the metabolic rate, or the metabolism, which is normally there to burn that fuel. Okay, and so what happens is, as you start to alter your eating style or your frequency that you're eating meals, what happens is your body starts to actually shut down that metabolism, and it almost goes into a starvation type of a mode. So when we do that, we start to burn less calories because your body's going, wait, hang on a second. I have to hold on to everything around me here. I want to make sure that I don't end up in a situation where I need it later on.
It's self-preservation.
Exactly. And so that's what happens as a result of the changes that we make just voluntarily, where we say, you know what, I need to lose weight today.
Right.
I'm not going to eat lunch. And then you come into dinner, you may eat a little bit more than you normally would have.
Sure.
The only problem with that is as soon as you do that, what happens is your metabolism isn't. I look at the metabolism almost like I'd look at a big furnace. Okay. And so if you think of that big furnace, the only problem is you really don't have anything on fire in the bottom of it when you start throwing all that stuff in right before you go to bed.
Okay.
And then you go to bed, you lay down.
It just sits there.
And it just sits there. And it just sits there. And you know what? Then your body goes, hey, wait a minute. This guy was trying to starve me earlier today. I think I probably better save some of this stuff so that I make sure that I don't starve later on.
Okay.
And as a result of that, we start to pack the pounds on. All of that material that you're thinking is there to feed you and make sure that you can actually do those things that you want to do. All of a sudden, that becomes your storage for later, just to make sure that you don't starve later on.
What about the difference between burning sugar versus burning fat?
Well, sugar's cheap, okay, first of all. And so what happens is when you start burning that sugar, it's kind of cheap fuel.
Sugar that's in your bloodstream already.
Well, not only that, but it's already that's in the food that you're taking in, okay? So we talk about carbohydrates a lot.
Yeah.
As far as carbohydrates are concerned, they're cheap, okay? The problem with that is it's almost the same idea as, if you throw paper on a fire, it's going to be there for a second, then it's gone, right?
Sure.
Okay, but if you throw a big piece of wood on there, and you make sure that the fire's nice and hot. If you throw that piece of wood on there, it's going to actually grow hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's going to burn a lot warmer for you, right?
Yeah.
For a lot longer period of time.
Yeah.
The same idea with everything that we're dealing with weight loss. If you're just burning sugar, it doesn't really do anything fantastic. But if you're burning fat, what has a tendency to happen is if you can actually get things burning that hot, if you can increase your metabolism enough so that you're burning that fat, first of all, you're actually burning off a lot of excess material, and obviously that fat's what is our weight, our belly,
Okay.
or the stuff that we have in our cheeks, in our rear end. So that fat becomes a lot better source of energy as well. And so once we can start burning that, if we can actually increase the metabolism to that point, or the metabolic rate, the furnace to the level that we can actually start to burn that, what happens is two things. Number one, we start to lose weight. Okay. Number two, you're going to start gaining more energy. Okay. Number three, we start to see all of these other processes that we talked about before start to disappear. I mean, blood pressure starts to diminish.
Right.
The energy levels that you have become a lot greater. And then along with that, even the blood sugar levels that you normally would have start to diminish as well.
Well, that leads us to talk about the program that's offered by Busch Chiropractic Center, which is the New Life Body Sculpting Program. So how does it work?
Well, New Life Body Sculpting is actually a combination of a couple of different programs, okay? We've talked in the past, I like to combine things because I like to get the best of both worlds. I like to take the best of one thing and the best of another. And so what we've done is we've taken something called the Zerona laser, which is actually they call it a fat burning laser, but it's not actually a fat burning laser. What it does is it's a laser that actually helps open up the intercellular channels in the cell, okay? Or in the fat cell in particular.
Okay.
As a result of that, if we open up that cell, we can actually expel that fat out into the interstitial tissue, or the tissue surrounding the fat cell, okay?
And that helps it break down.
That not only helps it break down, but it also, we move that through the lymphatic system back out of your body. So basically what happens is all of those fat cells, they expel the fat that was normally in them. So this helps us target some of those areas that are really kind of difficult. The love handles,
sure,
the hips, and even, depending on patients, but the hips and the thighs, that type of thing, the buttocks. So we can actually target those areas specifically with the Zerona laser. Now, the neat thing about this is there are a lot of other types of treatment out there that kind of damage those cells, or the fat cells. And the fat cells are kind of important. Okay, every cell in our body I think of as important.
That makes sense to me.
Even if you don't like them. Okay?
Fair enough.
And most people don't like the fat cells. But the idea behind this is it actually helps us expel that fat out into the interstitial tissue, and it allows your lymphatic system and everything else to actually process that, and we can get rid of that fat that way. And so it's expelled through urine as well. Now, as far as the rest of the program, we've actually paired that up or married it with a very low-calorie diet. Now, the neat thing about this low-calorie diet, what we're doing is we're actually doing a couple things. First of all, we're using a special homeopathic solution, I guess is the best way to say it.
Okay.
But it's a homeopathic solution, which means that we're using very, very minute particles or molecules of amino acids that actually help to maintain an elevated metabolic rate while we're going through this weight loss program or this diet.
Okay.
At the same time, we're using equal parts of lean meats, okay, fruits and vegetables, and basically giving our body in the proper ratio what we actually need to actually give our body what it needs to actually heal properly and to actually function properly. The neat thing about this is as we start to go through the program and as we start to lose weight, we are actually learning how to eat again. Okay, the problem that we all have here in the Midwest is we all like meat and potatoes and bread too darn much.
Sure.
Okay, but at the same time, if we are given a situation where we can actually learn to eat properly again, the great thing about this is it's not just a situation where we're losing weight right now. It's something that where we're going to actually be able to maintain it later on. And I think something that's important along with this is, from a weight loss standpoint, what we have to do, though, is we have to actually increase our metabolic rate as we're starting the diet, because most people's metabolic rate's down by the floor.
Right.
Okay, we want to make sure that we're building that fire up and turning it on enough so that as we start the diet, we're going to be burning fat and not just the sugar and everything else that may be in the bloodstream or maybe in our diet because of the fruit. So what we're doing is we're creating a situation where we're actually increasing the temperature of that furnace, or increasing our metabolic rate to a point where we're actually burning a lot more calories than we're taking in. And that's really truly how weight loss happens. So what happens here is we're pairing this with the treatment with the laser and some other therapies that we do along with that to actually increase, number one, the ability to lose weight. Number two, actually help get rid of the fat in those problem areas. And then number three, the final portion of it, is we actually work to retrain people on how to eat.
Your New Life Body Sculpting program, is it work for everybody or anybody? I mean, does it matter if you're 20 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight? Or
You know, the best thing about this program, we don't do it all in 2 days, okay?
Sure.
Unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet. If I can get that one, baby, look out. We're going to put that one out there. But what we actually have is we have people that are losing between 20 and 42 pounds in 42 days, okay?
Say that again?
We have people that are losing, and people that are averaging between 20 and 40 pounds lost in 42 days. Okay.
Seriously. So
Seriously.
we're talking about a 6-week program.
Exactly.
Where you can lose up to 40 pounds.
Exactly. And we have actually had people, though obviously the larger that you are, the more prone you're going to be to losing weight a little bit more easily.
And this is without drugs.
Exactly. There's no drugs, no surgery, just results like everything else we do. As far as this program is concerned, we have patients that want to come in and lose 20 pounds.
Sure.
But we also have patients that have wanted to lose 200 pounds. Okay, so there isn't a limit on that. Now, the whole thing is, again, we can't do it all at once. We have to do it in cycles, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we, first of all, help your body lose the weight.
Yes.
And then reacclimate to the new metabolic level. And then we're going to start losing the weight again. So usually, as far as patients that if they want to lose closer to 60 or 80 or 100 pounds, men are a lot more prone, or lose weight a lot more easily. Okay. So generally speaking, we have women that average about 20, 25 pounds weight loss in the 4 to 6 weeks, or in the 6 weeks, the 42 days. As far as men are concerned, they average closer to 30 pounds. Now, as far as patients the other day, I keep an eye on all the statistics as far as our patients are concerned, because this truly is doctor-supervised weight loss. So I have a patient that we started the other day. The guy weighed about 320 pounds. Okay. He really wanted to lose about 60 pounds. Okay. But really, in reality, he probably needs to lose closer to 100.
Yeah, sure.
And the nice thing about this is he's 20 days into his weight loss program.
Yeah.
And as I checked him yesterday, he was down 37 pounds.
Wow.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
20 days.
20 days. Okay. Trust me, he had it to lose.
Sure.
Okay. But at the same time, he's progressing very nicely. There isn't any problem with it. The neat thing about this program along with that, or I guess the amazing thing, neat is not the right word. It's actually amazing. The amazing thing about this program is that really, as we get going, people really aren't hungry along with their weight loss.
No, I want to learn more about that. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to find out about how you can lose this much weight with the New Life Body Sculpting program and not be hungry and not have to take any drugs or shakes or prepackaged meals or anything like that. More with Dr. Busch right after this.
Are you still thinking about losing weight? Did you give up on your resolution or never even get started? It's so frustrating and depressing. And now warm weather is right around the corner. Shorts, tank tops, bathing suits. You know you're dreading it. But there's good news. New Life Body Sculpting has the answer. Do you need to lose 20, 50, or even 100 pounds? You can do it with the one-of-a-kind New Life Body Sculpting weight loss protocol. This unique program combines an easy-to-follow eating plan with the revolutionary Zerona laser treatment to help you lose weight and inches fast. Up to 40 pounds gone in just 40 days, up to 80 in just 12 weeks. Call 260-471-1120 for your free consultation. There's no reason to keep fearing your scale. You can be more active and happier. New Life Body Sculpting is real weight loss for real people. Completely safe, fast, and effective. Call 260-471-1120 now for your free consultation. Or visit newlifebodysculpting.com to fill out your free weight loss profile now. New Life Body Sculpting. It's time for a new you. You know who thinks losing weight is easy? People who don't need to lose weight, but you know what it's really like. It's confusing, depressing, and exhausting. New Life Body Sculpting understands this and has a program that will work for you to lose unwanted weight and body fat, make you look and feel better, and help get you off dangerous medications. Whether you need to lose 15 pounds or 115 pounds, New Life Body Sculpting will help. The next generation fat-reducing Zerona treatment is locally exclusive to New Life Body Sculpting. When paired with the proprietary supportive diet program, you'll lose the weight, body fat, and inches. Call today. Call 260-471-1120 or visit newlifebodysculpting.com. 260-471-1120. Set up your free consultation. Have a new body, new look, and new life with New Life Body Sculpting. New Life Body Sculpting is now accepting health savings accounts and offering a 25% discount, limited time only. New Life Body Sculpting understands why you're frustrated. It's time for something different, and New Life Body Sculpting can make this a true new year for you. The New Life Body Sculpting Fat Burning Protocol and revolutionary Zerona laser treatment will get you results. The program is easy to follow and uses real food. No shakes, pills, gimmicks, or frustrations. If you need to lose 15 pounds or 150 pounds, this program works. This is real weight loss for real people. Call today for your free consultation. New Life Body Sculpting is now accepting new patients. Use your health savings or flex spending account. Call 260-471-1120 or visit newlifebodysculpting.com.
And welcome back to Health Matters with Dr. Richard Busch of the Busch Chiropractic Center. Today we're talking about the New Life Body Sculpting program offered by Busch Chiropractic Center. And Dr. Busch, you just told us some astounding numbers where people can lose 20 to 40 pounds in 6 weeks with this program without any sort of drugs or prepackaged meals or diet shakes or anything like that.
Exactly. 42 days, 20 to 40 pounds in 42 days. And like I mentioned before the break, we actually have people that are losing more than that. Men, especially when they're a lot larger, have a tendency to lose a lot more weight than even that. That being said, these are just averages that we're talking about. Women do have a tendency to move a little bit more slowly. At the same time, we've had several outliers where they actually lost a lot more than that, whether they're men or women. The neat thing about it is to be able to see the way that their life changes as they're losing this weight. I mean, we have patients that have come in, they've been on patients for diabetes or medications for diabetes. They've been on medications for their high blood pressure and cholesterol and everything else. And what actually happens is as they start to lose the weight, first of all, their blood pressure goes down.
Right.
Okay. Number two, they start to develop a lot better attitude. I mean, it's a lot easier to be happy when it's not a chore for you to walk from your bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen. But at the same time, we're actually seeing them be able to cut back and or cut out their medications for diabetes, their medications for blood pressure. These are all things that we make sure that we do in conjunction with their medical doctor. So we're not just saying, hey, by the way, you need to stop that. But they're things that as their medical doctor starts to see their weight come down and we start to see their values come down as far as the blood work, they actually start to go, wait a minute, you don't need these medications anymore. And that's a pretty amazing thing to see. That's a life-changing experience for patients. So we're seeing a lot of amazing results with these patients. They're extremely excited about the fact that, 20 to 40 pounds is life-changing in just a short period of time, 42 days. But along with that, we have patients that are losing 60 or 80 pounds or more in 12 weeks because we do put a little bit of time in between each cycle if they're going to lose weight because we have to make sure that we regain that metabolic level in between the two cycles so that they don't start to gain weight again. The whole idea is we want them to help lose weight.
Sure.
And then along with that, we want to reset their metabolic rate so that we can actually start again from there. And that's what actually makes everything so successful with it.
You're doing all of this without stimulants. A lot of weight loss programs use stimulants like, fat stackers, pills, things like that. You're not doing any of that.
No stimulants.
You're not doing any prepackaged meals. No. You're not doing any weight loss shakes or anything like that.
JJ, this is all stuff you get from the grocery store.
Right, exactly.
Okay? Like I said before, we're using lean meat. Okay, which can be beef or chicken.
Okay.
A lot of it depends on exactly what you want. Fish.
Sure.
Okay, but then along with that, we're also using vegetables. Okay, I like to recommend organic vegetables because, frankly, you don't have to worry about any pesticides or herbicides or any of the GMO stuff along with that, so not genetically modified. We're still not sure what the effect that stuff has on your body. So we want to make sure that this is as clean as possible. And then along with that, fruit. One of the things that we see with all of our patients is as they're going through care, first of all, this is all real food. It's all real stuff. You just go to the market like you normally would, get your normal food, except you skip all the carbs, all the stuff in the bags.
Right.
So there are no chips on this diet. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that we can do from a snack standpoint and everything else to make sure that you're never hungry during the diet. Along with this, it's amazing because there is a cookbook that goes along with this diet. And I got to tell you what, when you're following the diet correctly and you're cooking directly out of the cookbook, there's some things like orange chicken in it. I got to tell you what, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's almost like you're not even on a diet at all.
Okay.
Actually, I eat better when I'm on the diet than I do when I'm not. Believe it or not.
I believe that.
At the same time, everybody's activity level, everybody's metabolic or everybody's physical activity level during the course of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes we may have to adjust the level of protein that they're getting, or something else, because we want to make sure that first of all we're burning as much as we can. As much fat as we can, but at the same time making sure that the patient isn't healthy or isn't hungry.
Isn't hungry. Yeah, I can tell you.
Probably need to cut that out.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
But as far as so the patient isn't hungry during the course of during the course of the entire weight loss program.
Okay.
Again, we're eating regular food. Along with that, there are even little what we call free vegetables, and what those free vegetables are things like cucumbers and that type of thing, lettuce, where there really isn't a whole lot of substance to them.
Right, high water content, low calorie.
Exactly, content. And so if you're hungry along the way, or you have a tendency to snack, those are things that you can snack on. I have a tendency to like pickles.
Sure, love pickles.
Exactly.
And you'd be amazed when you look at that jar of pickles. Calories
none.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the thing about it is, those are all just little things that we actually work to teach with you along the way. With this, and I think the most important thing when we're dealing with weight loss, and I think it's something that's important to remember, is first of all, it's really easy. This program is really easy. The New Life Body Sculpting program is really easy because, frankly, it is all real food. It's all stuff that you get at the regular supermarket. You make sure that that we're sticking with the lean meat, the vegetables, and the fruits.
And you're given the roadmap on what to buy.
You're given the roadmap on what to buy, number one. And number two, we also are following it up. We make sure that we have an entire program of support for you. So it's not something where we give you a book and say and a recommendation and give you a little bit of a weight loss amino acid blend or a homeopathic blend and say, hey, by the way, good luck.
Sure.
Okay, this is something that I take very seriously, everything that we do in my office.
Understood.
There is some accountability, or there's a lot of accountability with what we're doing. And there's a lot of support as well. This isn't a situation where we just give you the stuff and say, go ahead, have a good time, hope good luck. Basically, we actually are following up with the patient, making sure that they're eating the proper amounts of food, okay, that they're eating the proper amounts of both meats and vegetables and fruits, but also along with that they're drinking enough water. The biggest thing that we see with patients when they're in weight loss, or if they've had any types of problems with weight in the past, a lot of times they don't drink any water.
Yeah.
Okay. They get real used to drinking different things like pop. Okay. Or something like that. But then it's time to drink water and they're like, well, you know what? I don't know if I really like that.
Yeah.
So we are making sure that the patient's drinking plenty of water. But there is accountability with everything because we're actually following up, making sure that we're coaching the patient along the way. And again, there is accountability for it. So we want to make sure that all the patient's questions are answered so that they don't have anything that they're confused about.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we get that all taken care of as quickly as possible, and any questions that they may have, we get handled so that they can just make sure that they're focusing on the one thing that they need to be doing, and that's following the program the way it's written out.
Well, the first thing that I would ask you if I were coming in to do this program, since you just told me that there aren't any drugs involved with this, but there are a couple of supplements. What sort of supplements am I going to be taking if I'm in this program?
Well, the supplements are an amino acid homeopathic blend. What a homeopathic remedy is, homeopathic products, they all have to go through what's called a proving to be able to prove that they've actually worked. And there's an entire program behind that. That would take an entire day for me to explain for you on the radio.
Sure.
But at the same time, what this what this homeopathic remedy does is it actually works to help as we elevate your metabolic rate to get started on this program. We have to actually load. We have to load a lot of calories to build that fire, that furnace that we talked about before. We build that really so that it's burning extremely hot.
Okay.
This amino acid blend actually helps to maintain that level of metabolic rate at the same time, so we're only burning fat. We're not burning muscle along with that.
Okay.
And that's one of the big problems that people get into when they start just doing real low-calorie diets. And it's also the reason the body gets kicked into the starvation mode, because once you start to reduce the amount of caloric intake, it actually causes your body to start, or your nervous system start going, wait a minute, we have to hold on to some stuff. What this naturopathic or homeopathic blend does for us is it helps maintain that level and shuts off that neurologic component of it so that it doesn't start to burn muscle, and it doesn't continue to save the fat. So it's actually designed so that we're actually just burning the fat, and at the same time keeping that metabolic rate at as high of a level as we can. So we're burning a lot more calories than we're taking in, and that's one of the reasons we're able to lose so much weight so quickly.
Let's go back to the laser treatment very quickly. It's the Zerona laser.
Exactly.
And these treatments are perfectly safe.
Exactly. As far as the Zerona laser is concerned, there have been millions and millions and millions of treatments at this point in time. This is a cold laser. Okay, this isn't not millions in my office.
But it's a cold laser.
But it's a cold laser. It's actually a class 3 laser, class 3B laser, which means that there's no heat to it. Okay. And as far as that laser is concerned, all it's doing is it's increasing the metabolic rate of the fat cells. Now, as far as lasers are concerned, there are a lot of different things along with them. I use lasers for a lot of different things in my office. There are some lasers that are actually hot lasers. Okay, they actually burn things. And there are other lasers that aren't, and they actually work because they work really because we're using the right frequency and the right wavelength and the right intensity to not overpower or damage the cell. The biggest problem that we get when we get into class 4 lasers, those are lasers that actually burn things, and they're normally used for cutting, for surgical procedures. Yeah. And they've been using these lasers a little bit more frequently recently because they found out, hey, we could use these class 4 lasers for different types of therapy. Okay, so they put, instead of a focal lens, they put a divergent lens on it. The whole idea behind this is they have a tendency to damage the cells at times. All we're doing is we're using a laser that can't do anything like that. And all it's doing is it's helping work with the metabolic rate of the cell. And we're using, again, the right intensity, the right frequency, and the right wavelength so that we can have the proper benefit on that fat cell. And as it does that, it opens the intercellular channels, and it allows us to expel the fat into the interstitial tissue.
So the Zerona laser, combined with a low-calorie diet with prescribed foods, and I don't want to say that prescribed foods means that you have to purchase the foods from the Busch Chiropractic Center, but you're just saying, here's the meat that you want to go buy, here's the vegetables, here's the fruit that you want to go buy at your grocery store. You put all these things together with a natural amino acid supplement and a fiber supplement, and that is the new Life Body Sculpting program, where you can lose 20 to 40 pounds or maybe even more in just 42 days.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's amazing. It's actually the easiest thing you could ever imagine. And I think we've talked enough, JJ, for you to know that I have a tendency to be a pretty big stickler on the details, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I like to make sure that everything is written out so that really there isn't any way to fail. Okay, so that everything is explained as much in detail, and the devil is really truly in the details, so that the details are all there so you can answer any of your questions anytime you want. But at the same time, we also are following it up with great customer service, I guess is the best way to say it, because in this period where customer service is really not present very much in a lot of places, we like to make sure that we're actually taking as much care as we can to make sure that the patients have all their questions answered. And we make this program as easy as possible. And they're losing, like you said, between 20 and 40 pounds in 42 days. And we have patients losing between really 20 and 200 pounds, depending on what their actual desires are.
Well, I think it's time to let people know about the website so they can go and learn more about the New Life Body Sculpting program. It's at newlifebodysculpting.com. You can also call 260-471-1120 and talk to somebody about the New Life Body Sculpting program there as well. Again, the website, newlifebodysculpting.com. Dr. Busch, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
JJ, I just always really appreciate the time that you spend with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And please, if anyone has any questions, please give us a call at 260-471-1120 or check us out on the web at newlifebodysculpting.com.
That's right. For more information, call 260-471-1120. That's 260-471-1120 or online, newlifebodysculpting.com. You've been listening to Health Matters, a presentation of the Busch Chiropractic Center.